What is up, F and True followers in the YWC? JC Styles here of F and True Wrestling, back with the Monday Night Raw review for 7/4/2011. I hope everybody had a fantastic 4th of July weekend. I know I did. I went to the beach a couple of times. I went on a picnic today in memory of my fallen buddy, Mike, who passed away 2 years ago. Uh, everyone went, all of our friends and their wives and, their girlfriends and, parents. It was a very fun weekend for us here at F and True Wrestling, and now it's back to business with Monday Night Raw review. So Raw starts with a video recap of last night's main event, followed up by the CM Punk promo. Then Raw comes on the air, and we hear Michael Cole announce that the Raw GM had made a triple threat number one contenders match with Alberto Del Rio, R-Truth, and Rey Mysterio for later in the night, and the Alex Riley versus The Miz for the main event for Raw tonight. So Cena comes out and speaks about how CM Punk got wrong, how he was suspended for speaking his mind, stripped of his Money in the Bank championship match, in front of his hometown in Chicago, Illinois. He basically said, he basically goes out and he says, he spoke right from the heart, guys. And I'll quote a couple of things that he said. We're supposed to sweep CM Punk under the rug as he never pretend as he never existed. I have a voice, and as a champion, I have to say that WWE's decision to let CM Punk go, it sucks. Also speaks about last year how Daniel Bryan was let go for being too aggressive, and how WWE staff screens fans signs that they take to the house shows and the Monday Night Raws, and they speculated that they take them away. And basically just kept repeating himself. CM Punk was let go for speaking his mind. Then he turned around and he went over the GM's head and said, hey, look, I'm calling out Vince. I want to know why. I want my WWE Championship match to be against CM Punk at Money in the Bank. So the first match of the night is we got some Diva tag team action, which, I actually enjoyed. I've been a little bit hard on the Divas and the Knockouts. And this match was actually pretty good. We saw Eve Torres hit a very well-executed moonsault with a little dance step thrown in. Brie and Nikki Bella show some really good technical wrestling. We see Kelly hit a couple of nice offensive maneuvers with the head scissor takedown and the K2, which is kind of like almost like a rocker dropper / famouser. And we also seen her hit a very fantastic Lou Thesz press for the win. Well, Kelly hits his K2 for the win, I'm sorry. Then we see a video package from Tough Enough for Andy Levine with his matches down that he's having over in the FCW camp. And, in my mind, I still think that I would have rather have seen Luke win. But let's see what happens with Andy. I think that now that he's got that fire lit under his ass, I think he'll really deliver as a big man. Then we see Scott Sanford in the back interviewing R-Truth. R-Truth still believes that there's a worldwide conspiracy that he's not the WWE champion because of all the little jimmies. And then he goes that someone's going to get got tonight in the triple threat match. But he says that he saved a bunch load of money by switching to his car insurance to Geico, which I thought was kind of funny. Then we see basically him turn around, and we see Alberto Del Rio standing behind him, and we see Alberto. We go, it's not fair. First we had the little jimmies, now we have the Senor little jimmies, which I thought was funny. And Alberto Del Rio says it's not about being unfair; it's about destiny. And he goes, it is my destiny to be WWE champion. Then we see next up, we see in the next match of the night, we see Santino Marella and Vladimir Kozlov go against the current WWE champions, David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy. Now we see at the beginning of this match, we see a test of strength between Santino and Otunga. We also see Vladimir Kozlov dominate Michael McGillicuddy. I mean, dominate. We saw Santino hit the Cobra on David Otunga to have him fall outside the ring. Then we see, a series of tag team maneuvers in this match. We see like a double battering ram where Kozlov took kind of like a shoulder thrust torpedo Santino into McGillicuddy's abdomen. Then we see McGillicuddy hit this unique kind of like spinning neck breaker for the win. I'm still trying to figure out what he calls that because they don't really call it anything. It's kind of hard. Then post match, Zack Ryder comes out and basically doesn't even cut a promo. He says, "Woo woo woo, you know it," which I hope this is his push to Monday Night Raw. I think he's doing a fantastic job on Superstars, and I think he's ready for that push on Raw, not as a dark match, but actually on Raw. I mean, he impressed the hell out of me when I went. Me and Brian saw the house show back in March. It's February. I'm sorry, when it was fantastic. Then for the next segment of the night, we see the Miz call A-Rye a nuisance. We hear the Miz talk about how he brought A-Rye to Raw, how A-Rye rode his coattails all the way to the main event and WrestleMania, screwing him out of the title on his chances at being champion again numerous times. Then we go to another. After we go to a commercial break, we come back and we see Evan Bourne and Sergeant Slaughter talking in the locker room, talking about how on this day, 4th of July, we want to. Slaughter wants to go out and sing "I Pledge Allegiance" with the crowd. Then we see Swagger come in and say, you turned your back on the United States years ago and sided with Iran. I'm sorry, with the Iron Sheik, and the only thing that gave you credibility is that you said, "I want my country back," which led into Jack Swagger versus Sergeant Slaughter. We see Slaughter, could still go. He was fairly good in the ring tonight. We see the Cobra Clutch. Swagger reverses it into a series of amateur wrestling style moves, followed up by a Swagger bomb for the win. Post match, we see Swagger put the ankle lock on Slaughter. Evan Bourne comes out and hits kind of like a high knee to the face. We see Swagger roll out of the ring. We see Evan Bourne grab a mic and they proceed into singing "I Pledge Allegiance." During the next match of the night was Rey Mysterio versus Alberto Del Rio versus R-Truth. Now, the moves that actually stood out in this match, Alberto Del Rio does a running step up insecurity in the corner. He did the back cracker. R-Truth hit his vintage corkscrew elbow, which he used to call the lie detector. And we seen him do the axe kick corkscrew. Rey Mysterio with his quick strikes, quick kicks, his just all around quick ability. We see him do a flurry of moves followed up by a head scissors, 619, followed up by a kind of like R-Truth was going for a suplex off the second rope on Mysterio, and basically Del Rio came up and put R-Truth on his shoulders, and Rey did a cross body on R-Truth, kind of almost like a reminiscent of the Road Warriors Doomsday device, kind of, but it was crossbody instead of a clothesline, which I think it was still good. It paid homage to the Road Warriors, even though they weren't attempting to do it, but they did. We see Rey Mysterio hit the 619 on R-Truth and the splash off the top rope. Then as Rey is going for the win, as the ref's coming down for the 3 count, Del Rio sneaks in the ring and puts in the cross armbar on, I think it's called the cross arm breaker, I'm sorry, on Rey Mysterio. Rey taps out, and we have a new number 1 contender. Then we see a promo with Vicky and Ziggler stating, with Ziggler and Vicky, they come out and Ziggler's like, look, I'm, the greatest entertainer in the WWE. The WWE Championship doesn't matter. The United States Championship matters. I should matter because I'm the United States Champion. I should be getting the TV time. And basically, Kofi comes out and blows up his spot. He's like, well, why are you the best entertainer when you can't win a match you can't beat me without having Vicky help you? Then a brawl breaks out, and we basically see Vicky get pushed into the cake twice. Then for the main event of the night, we see The Miz versus Alex Riley. Now, I like Alex Riley. Don't get me wrong. I think he's doing fantastic in the ring, and he's got such passion and such intensity. And I would like to see him win Money in the Bank, just to help push him a little bit more. We see The Miz hit several DDTs, a low DDT and an inverted DDT, kind of like the Scorpion Death Drop. We see Alex Riley with a series of offensive maneuvers, drop kicks, body slams, hip tosses. I'm sorry. But the key point of this match was we see A-Rye pick up the win with the backslide, which is a traditional wrestling, I think I want to say an amateur wrestling move. And you don't really get to see that a lot. I mean, you do, but then you don't. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like it's a fantastic, it's leverage. It's a leverage pin, and it was just like he got it, and basically the Miz lost. You don't really get to see that often in WWE anymore. Then you see post match, you see the Miz take the loss to A-Rod a little sour. Basically, brutally attacks A-Rod by using everything that's ringside to beat him down on, and just basically at the end just kicks him right in the skull and says, "I made you, and I will take you out." Then we come back from the commercial. Vince comes out and he speaks about how why they let CM Punk go. How CM Punk wanted to be on the merchandise. CM Punk wanted limousine. CM Punk wanted his air jet. You know, it's all hearsay. I mean, we don't know what really is going on. But CM Punk, is suspended indefinitely. After this segment, I'll get into that. He basically says Punk was suspended because he was greedy. Then, basically rushes the promo, calls it a wrap. Then Cena comes in and is like, "Oh, you're not getting away that fast. You come out here and you say, what happened to the Vince McMahon of the old where he wanted a fight? What happened to the Vince McMahon who endorsed freedom of speech? But nowadays, a wrestler has the right to freedom of speech, but he gets suspended in the long run." Basically calls Vince soft and an old man. He goes, "What are those? What are those grapefruits now dried up pits?" He just basically insulted. He goes, "Vince, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna, if I get under your skin or say something you don't like, are you gonna suspend me?" And then Vince is like, "What? Why are you gonna go that way? Why are you gonna do that?" And basically Vince told him how it is. You're a dime a dozen. You're replaceable. Hogan, Austin, Stone Cold. I mean Austin, Rock, all replaceable, and so is Cena. He goes, read between the lines, folks. He's saying, don't you think I can't get another one of you guys and make a whole, basically reading between the lines. And Cena was just like, I'm not, I didn't sign up for this, and I don't think I want to be a part of a company that does that. He hands the title to Vince and walks off out of the ring, up the stage. And McMahon's yelling, he's like, "You're going to leave me? You integrate? You're going to walk out on me like all the others did?" It was really crazy. I never seen Vince pissed off this much. And, the outcome was the match is on, but if Cena loses, he is fired. Vince basically said, "I take calculated risks. I don't want to be embarrassed because I've been down that road before when a person has left as champion and left the company. I've been there. I don't want to do that again." And I can understand as Vince being a businessman and admitting to that. So we're going to see CM Punk versus John Cena at Money in the Bank for the WWE Championship, where if Cena loses, Vince is going to come down to the ring and fire him. So, guys, it's been my Monday Night Raw review. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I went into much detail as possible to give it to you as much as I could. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please check out the F and True Click channel. The link will be in the description box. Please join. Please subscribe. Please comment. Please check out Most Extreme Wrestling and The Wrestling Show and WrestlingRevolution.com. And for a buddy of mine, V Phenomenal X, who has a WWE clan on SmackDown vs. Raw 09, which he had 80 members. Now he's down to 20. He's looking for people to join. If you guys are interested on the Xbox Live server, his gamertag is in the description box. Please check him out. For F and True Wrestling, I'm JC Styles. Have a good night, and I'll see you back later in the week for TNA and SmackDown.